Ladies and gentlemen, order in the court. Today's proceedings finds the people versus James McGill.
Legal troubles got you down. The inheritance coming up short. Scammers getting the last laugh. Ha! Drug lords in your future. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. Because he'll get your case dismissed. He'll fight for you. He'll get you the defense you deserve, but only if you say the words.
Oh no, I need legal representation. Whatever shall I do? What do I say? Oh wait, I know. Better Call Saul. So without further ado, it's time to start judging Saul. Court is now in session.
You will atone.
All right, Dragon, big episode to get here. We're slowly but surely catching up on Better Call Saul. It's on episode 8 right now. We will be done and caught up by the time the penultimate airs, hopefully a few days before the penultimate episode airs on Monday night this week. Or next week, I should say, blah, blah, blah. So many semantics. So many semantics running through my head right now, Dragon. Just like Jimmy McGill. Just like good old James McGill himself. So let's jump right into it. This is Season 3, Episode 7, Expenses.
And of course, let's highlight our director and writer. And good news, we can economize some time because we're the same guy. It's Tom Schnauz. Tom Schnauz, who's famous for both directing and writing his episodes, directed and wrote this episode. Famous for some of the best episodes, honestly. For Pimento, of course, which is a favorite of Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
Switch, which is a really strong opener, season 2, and of course from Breaking Bad. And these are episodes he's done both. I just pulled those episodes. He's wrote separate episodes, but these are like kind of the combo, the deluxe package, if you will. He's also, of course, written and directed Say My Name from Breaking Bad. So
there's no toe in the water package for this guy.
No toe in the water package. Or again, as Jonathan Banks loves to endearingly calls him the Little Prince.
Oh god, the Little Prince.
The Little Prince.
That's adorable.
Yep.
Oh, Vince Gilligan, always the charmer.
No, Jonathan Banks.
Oh, Jonathan Banks. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry.
I mean, he is good. I'm with you. I think Vince Gilligan's quite the charmer.
Okay, tell me that doesn't sound like something Vince Gilligan would do, just randomly nicknaming someone the Little Prince.
Oh, it sounds a lot better
than
Jonathan Banks.
I'm sorry, Dragon. It's just like tell me that doesn't sound like a Gilliganism.
Oh, Gilliganism is like you're just standing on set eating the sandwich. That's a Gilliganism. He always loves going with that. But he always loves going with that self put down. Always like eating the sandwich instead of directing.
All right. Okay, so where do we pick up, Dragon? What's our first shot?
Our first shot is a very interesting prison lineup shot of Jimmy. Kind of, it's framed like a prison lineup. We're on the outside of this building, which
kind
is
of like a Usual Suspects type deal.
Very much so. Yes, it's very. It's. I just love this image because it's so like it's like an eye chart almost. You're looking at like an eye chart. What the heck? Where it's like the outside. It's like a brick building on the outside, but it's very much looks like like the back of like a lineup, like police lineup almost. Where basically Jimmy is like standing there alone. And then he is shortly joined by the other parolees.
Oh, God.
They're all lined up against the wall of the Albuquerque Parks Department for their community service. Part of Jimmy's PPD. Part of the arrangement of the 12-month suspension along with community service.
Mm-hmm.
So we see it go very mundanely. Jimmy hands in it. I love how they pay attention to all the mundane details, which just tickles my fancy, Tiki. It really does. Just the fact that he's, Jimmy hands, the community service guy, the overseer, who still isn't yet to have a name, but just the community service guy. He, he asks for Jimmy's time card, and he's, has him sign a waiver. I love that Jimmy, being the lawyer that he is, reads over the waiver, and of course, this is going to pay off.
The guy he's trying to wave it off. He's like, it's just a waiver. We're not responsible if you hurt yourself. I don't know. And I thought right away, like, if I were Jimmy, and of course this show does kind of like teach us to look into the legalese of it all. I would look at that paperwork.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So then he boards the van with the other guys. So again, very. Then they arrive at their kind of under an overpass of some kind, under like a bridge, like a high.
Oh God!
So it's
And we get some of the most like disgusting props.
We do, but before that, it's very mundane. It's grabbing a vest, gloves, a little grabby thing to pick up highway trash. And by the way, just so you know, so you're a little less grossed out, it's all safe trash. It's all it's not actual.
Okay, well, I assume that they didn't. Like, I assume it wasn't like, hey, we got Aaron Paul on set. Aaron, piss in this bottle for us.
Why Aaron Paul?
I don't know, because he random. Because that sounds like something Aaron Paul would do for them.
Really?
If he was just randomly. It sounds like something Jesse Pinkman would do. All right? Give me a break. Yeah, man, I'll piss in a bottle for you. Whatever you need, Vince.
Can we get off the subject?
Sure.
Well, there was one really funny. They actually made a joke because, again, Tom Shanks being called Little Prince, he loves to take his shots at Jonathan Banks in tow. Mm-hmm. So he, the dirty underpants that we'll get to momentarily, he jokes that those belong to Jonathan Banks. He jokes, they take their shots at each other. Anyway, so it's all safe trash. Again, like when Jimmy was thrown in the dumpster, he was all safe,
Oh God! Oh, that was awful.
But again, all actor friendly trash. No actual disgusting waste. So he's picking up trash. We have the gross bottle, which it's unfortunately I don't think it's Gatorade. So I think Tiki is somewhat onto something. I don't think Aaron Paul contributed, but I do think Tiki might be onto something with the icky liquid.
Oh God! Oh no!
I don't think that's Gatorade. So long car ride. Oh, you don't want to know. So Jimmy gets a call. He answers it. He tries essentially gets a call. He's still working off the just to remind the folks. He's begun his Saul Goodman productions again, the beginnings of Saul Goodman, where he's trying to sell off his airtime.
I love how he's just like, oh yeah, we're big production today. Like as he's trying to pass off the traffic.
Absolutely. He's just basically making some. Oh yeah, those are some of our trucks leaving. That's Jimmy again. This is like Jimmy back to the days of the whole You've reached the offices of James McGill Esquire. How may I direct your call? Back to pretending to be his own receptionist. Back to those days.
It's like the white collar version of that.
Exactly. Again, he's like making lemons into lemonade. Pour an algae after the bottle. But anyway, so he tries selling his client in essentially in a less ideal location with noise of cars and everything. He's selling. He's really kind of selling like, oh yeah, we're high quality productions. He works essentially the sale he's working around. The ad he's trying to sell this guy on is for computer repair. It's someone with a computer repair business, and he's just kind of working on the sale as he picks up dirty underwear, which I think is hysterical. Of all the icky trash, it's dirty underwear on the side, and with that. It's the fact that it's like as he's like trying to make it sound like this really classy thing, it's like kind of like doing an ad, like it's gonna be nothing but class as he's picking up the dirty underwear, and putting it in the bag. And what I really love about this scene is that Jimmy is getting a lot of work done while he's multitasking like the Dickens, and he's doing it great.
Yeah, and oh God,
we'll get there.
It really grinds my gears. Gears.
And again, as I mentioned, it turns out it's one of our trucks. Tell me, I'm reading into this, bear in mind, but he picks up a tie. Now,
Oh no.
I'm reading into it. I'm reading one of two things.
Is it one of Howard Hamlin's off-brand ties that he had to buy?
No, it is not.
And he just chucked it over the side of the freeway.
No. I'm thinking one. It could be like a tease of Saul Goodman if he's acting as Saul Goodman. There's a wacky tie.
Of course.
Or the other thing, more
like some Phantom Menace, like Darth Vader shadow symbolism.
but seriously though, what it might be, what I kind of thought of is like it's one of the. It wasn't the one that I don't believe it's the same one that opened this episode. Then again, I'm just kind of stopped paying attention at this point because they're all just kind of the same, but they have very very minor alterations of the openings. Where it's the tie and the tarantula opening.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm saying it made me think of the tie and the tarantula thing. Thinking it's the deserty location, but it's under note. The point is just it made me think of the tie thing. So. Now, at this point, just given what Jimmy says, he says it's most likely that Jimmy has 7 commercials at this point. That he's already done. Out of the 9 spots he had, he used one on himself, so he has 8 spots left. So he's at least done one already. And now he's got 7 left. He's got 7 spots left he has to sell off. He's still trying to sell them all off as quickly as possible with like the various package plans. So he goes from essentially $850 is the usual, which we kind of set up. That's kind of his price range for one commercial. He's trying to make at least $850 per.
He's trying to at least break even. You know what I mean?
Yes, he's trying not to be in debt. He's trying to,
yeah.
The worst thing is if he can't sell these commercials, then he'll be just be wasted airtime.
Mm-hmm.
All for naught. So then he basically goes from the $850 for one deal to a deal that essentially is what is it, 4 for
I think it's like 4 for 4,800 or something.
Yes,
like that
4,600. I think
46. Yeah, it's something where it's like he just gets a little bit of profit out of it.
And remember, folks, he needs to make back $4,000, which that would absolutely help him out. He's trying to just, in addition,
I honestly think is kind of like people might think, he's kind of pulling a scam here, but I think it's commendable that he's not trying to go like over the moon and really try to get more money than he really should be. You know what I mean? Like
right.
He's trying to get a little bit of profit for himself, but not so much that he's being greedy about it.
Because again, folks, it's not just making back the $4,000. He's, in addition to making the $4,000, he also has to kind of supplement his income for the 12 months. That's it. Anything he gets past the 4,000 mark is him trying to. 4,000 gets him out of the hole, which he's already sold 2 commercials, most likely for, one commercial because one was on himself. So most likely he's made at least $850. So out of the 4,000, regardless, it's after he gets 4,000, he just needs to continue to add up as much as he can with the remainder, so he can just be safe for the 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Pay his half of expenses. So. That's the title. Okay, so he's trying to make a living with the TV spots as well. All right, Rich, we went through that. So then, unfortunately, he loses the client. The client just uninterested and just hangs up. So
after he hears the price, yeah.
Yep. So then Jimmy, just as the day is going on, Jimmy's on hold for a lot of the day. For his, he's on hold while he's battling basically his on-hold battle with the malpractice insurance business. He's looking for a refund. Essentially,
Dragon. I can just say my family has dealt with a lot of crap through like health insurance and Social Security and whatnot, and this is so realistic to how it goes down. Let me tell you, it's awful. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful, man. Dealing with these people is the absolute worst, and you always know I'm getting a little bit personal here, but it's like you always know that these people are looking for any loophole that they possibly can to screw you out. I'm getting too personal. I'm going down a rabbit hole.
It is kind of satisfying to see Jimmy go up against the malpractice guys, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I could literally go into a political podcast about this subject if I wanted to.
All right, the point is Jimmy's on. Basically, we get a glimpse at Jimmy's on-hold battle. He's being put on hold. He says, "But don't put me on hold." Just continually being put on hold by the malpractice insurance business, as he's looking for a refund for his 12 months. Again, if he doesn't, basically trying to get as much money as he can so he can pay the expenses for 12 months.
Sure.
Jimmy's getting nowhere with it because he's getting put on hold again. Just he kind of gives up on it. So let's see. Then he just him getting nowhere is punctuated by.
Okay.
Like a trash. Sorry, like there's this icky trash. It just like dumps right in front of him.
yeah. And
so then 4 hours later.
Speaking of trash.
4 hours later.
Speaking of trash. Oh man, can we just call this guy Small Penis Man?
Oh come on, don't take it there.
Because he's clearly overcompensating for something, Dragon. He's I don't know. I won't take it there.
Management, all right. Let's not take it.
I won't take it there. But this guy is just—he's a piece of work, man.
You're right about that. He is absolutely a piece of work. He's Mr. Huff's cousin.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, Mr. Huff.
You remember Mr. Huff?
No, I don't.
Really? The Incredibles, Wally Shawn's character from The Incredibles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you should have just said Wallace Shawn in The Incredibles because that's pretty much like a caricature.
Essentially, he's just like his really less successful cousin. That's what. It's another guy in middle management who just is really just going to exercise as much power as he has, and this guy just is like really low in the totem pole of middle management.
So yeah, basically this guy. Look, Dragon, I understand. Like this is a situation where it's a bit of a gray area. I understand.
I'm going to set it up a little first, but
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just getting this there. So 4 hours later, Jimmy returns with two bags. Compared to everyone else has one bag of like it's at the end of the day and 4 hours have gone by since they've begun. Jimmy, while distracted, has managed to collect. He's multitasking, grabbing things while he's talking to clients. He's gotten two big bags of trash. Everyone else is just like kind of one bag. Again, Jimmy multitasking. And then basically they're going there to get their time cards back because the guy collects them and he kind of marks off like their 4 hours ideally.
Mm.
And Jimmy takes his card, and as he reads it on the way into the van, he notices there's a discrepancy, a very big discrepancy, that he's only been marked down for 30 minutes out of the 4 hours. So Jimmy obviously has a problem with this, and he brings it up to the guy.
Yeah, and so Dragon, this is kind of where the gray area comes in. Like the guy makes the point where it's like, yeah, it's like jail. You know, you have to follow the rules. You can't use your phone in jail. You can't use your phone here, but. Again, Dragon, the 2 bags of trash compared to everyone else's one. Like, basically, what I would do in this same situation, I would enforce the rules and cut his time in half. I would give him 2 hours. I think 30 minutes is ridiculous.
It is.
Like, especially because he went the extra mile to get the 2 bags of trash to begin with. Like.
Honestly, what he really should have done is give him a warning and just let him have the 4 hours. But yeah, I mean, realistic. If he's going to be real harsh about it, then yeah, half the time would have been the actual fair thing to do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because that way, like, he could conduct business, but he'll have to get through the the community service slower that way. So it's kind of like it's kind of like an eye for an eye. You know what I mean? But 30 minutes is just unfair. Like he'll never get through those hours that way. I don't know.
Absolutely. And yeah, he did double the workload, and he needs to make a living to it. And then Jimmy tries this. We've seen so many. This harkens back to that.
Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Now, of course, this harkens back to that whole. Again, this is kind of like as I mentioned in the writers' room when they're reading the first episode, the kind of the Peter Gouldy script from the first episode of Jimmy has the world by the balls. He's given an inspiring speech, and you think he owns the jury. Then they put in the VHS tape of the kids doing unspeakable things to him. So this is kind of one of those moments where again it seems like Jimmy's giving a brave heart speech to these like, hey, you're gonna let this guy I'm sorry, do you have it?
I don't have the exact quote. No,
I boiled it down. Essentially, Jimmy's just trying to rally the others on his side. We're not gonna let this guy bully us and push us around, right? And there's absolutely no luck. Which one guy says, "Are you gonna get in the
dude?
van
Are you just gonna get in the van or what? Come on, man."
Then we and basically what our last shot of the openings is a defeated, and this is a very important shot for our ending. A very defeated Jimmy in the in the middle here, in the middle of this van.
Oh, also importantly, the guy's like, we could make it 0.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, we got to mention yes. So the guy's been real prickish about it. He says that line, and that's going to
also Dragon. The one line I do have from Jimmy's rant is, "You're not our lord and master."
There we go. That's at least one of those. All right. Just take it as their word for it. Again, Jimmy just kind of weaving verbal magic as per usual.
Oh god.
All right. So Jimmy defeated in the van.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good. It's a solid cold open. I think it's a little bit like Gotham-esque, where it goes on a little long to be considered like a cold open. I don't know. I could nitpick it that way, but I don't really want to. It's fine.
They gave us tea in a they gave us tea in a fancy, expensive bottle. They had the create from scratch, and you're nitpicking, and you're. For Howard Hamlin, you're nitpicking the fact
I'm not the Howard Hamlin. It has nothing to do with this. Why are you dragging Hamlin into this?
I'm dragging Hamlin. First of all, you drag Pinkman into the urine bottle thing. I'm dragging Hamlin into the other bottle thing. Just say this show has given us like the ultimate fan wink, and you're saying, no, it goes on a little long. All right.
It's fine.
So I'll make that clear. You say, it's a little Gotham-esque. Won't you live with that? All right, so.
Wow. Okay.
We return to the parks department. I like the real time of this. So again, I like the cold opening directly leads to the next scene. So okay, they're on their way back. that's what's been going on while we saw like the little recycled footage.
Mm-mm. And then Jimmy is just, it's kind of like a Mission Impossible situation. He's just like, runs directly from the van to his car, makes a mad dash.
Walter White-esque, very Walter White being in a hurry. It's even more mundane and pathetic with Jimmy.
He's like trying to freshen himself up with handy wipes of all things.
Yep. He's kind of doing the Adrian Monk approach, where he's dabbing himself off with like these little baby wipes and everything. It's just like the little, not even baby wipes. I think they're like the little like compact, sort of like the circular ones, which aren't even. I love they use the most inconvenient version of that for it.
Right.
It's like nothing is like, even a wipe, at least like a rag or something you could use, but it's not even that. It's just like a little makeup circle thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, right. So he's getting changed and everything. He's getting into his hair director costume. His Michael Bay. His Michael Bay with Spielberg illusions. The Saul Goodman person, the director Saul Goodman person.
He shaved the goatee.
Right. Yes. Yes. Again, I think that also visually shows he's getting a little bit more comfortable in the persona. Again, he's becoming more and more like Saul Goodman. First, he's just trying to hide himself because he was uncomfortable. Now he's just becoming more and more at ease with himself.
I can see that. Sure.
All right. So he's getting
just symbolism of all symbolism. Dragon. His car barely starts. He's barely hanging on.
Yes. And of course, we always knew the car's been iffy, and now the car's really it's very representative of him, as Tiki just said. So,
can I make a prediction that we're going to see like a Breaking Bad RV style death of the car by the end of the season?
Well, we know he's getting the Cadillac, so yes. By the end of the season, well, actually, yeah. It depends if he has money. If he has money, then yeah. Tiki, the minute he has money, that car is gone. I know that much. The minute he has money, that's when we get the Cadillac.
Fair enough.
So it depends. If he strikes it big by the end of the season, absolutely, I'm on board for you.
But I'm saying, like, I want to see like a big dramatic, like the car going to the junkyard sort of thing.
Well, I'm thinking more like kind of sad, somber, like taps being played. Like it was a loyal car, and that's Jimmy's soul being crushed right now. That's
God.
A little red door. That was the humanity, and now gone. Wow. So. Moving on, so let's go to a small business. So we're at Duke City Recliner.
Oh God! Come on down to Duke City Recliners and put your feet up. Mention this ad and get 10% off your first purchase.
Yeah, I really like that promotion. The idea is if you mention the commercial, they give you 10% off. That's really nice. That's
it's good business both ways, because it's good business on Jimmy's end, because that's a way to gauge how effective the commercial is.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I wonder if Jimmy came up with that idea.
I think he probably did. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would like to think that he did. It didn't really occur to me where the 10% might come from. So yeah, I'm down for that. All right. So the point is, and by the way, you know what this guy's credited as?
Duke City. Duke.
No. It's something that's much funnier.
What? I don't know.
He's credited as the friendly-faced man.
Friendly-faced man. That sounds like something out of the X-Files.
I'm just saying, IMDb. That's what he was credited as, friendly-faced man, which I can't really disagree. It's like, yeah, it does look like a friendly-faced man.
That's great.
Anyway, so yes, so let's see. So yeah, Jimmy's saying, well, not bad, but basically Saul Goodman saying, not bad, but Saul wants to do one more take. He wants to do one more take, and he wants him to talk to the camera like it's a friend, like it's his friend. He says, well, you got a friend you talk to about this sort of stuff? Yeah, Ron. I want you to talk to the camera like it's Ron. Look at the camera. And he says, Kid Kubrick saying, yeah, look at me. There's your friend. Look in the eye. Tell him about the new.
Think about it. Just throw it away.
Yeah, and then he goes for another take. It's much more natural. And again, Jimmy. Again, I love that it's Saul Goodman, but still working through the. Again, it's still Saul Goodman's the tool, but it's really Jimmy McGill at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Where again, Jimmy knows how to work with people, knows how to direct, and he really gets through to him. Says, it's all friendly. Sit back, recline, and come on down. So, and also, I love the Panavision hat Jimmy's wearing, by the way. Just like so Spielberg. Right. Yeah, it's like an imitation Spielberg. That's kind of what it is. It's imitation Spielberg with a vest.
It's kind of funny because we have imitation Spielberg and then we have Kid Kubrick.
Yep. And they're working together, so all we need is like a weird mechanical teddy bear, then we're in.
Oh, God.
Well, actually, wait a minute. This is going to be a stretch, but technically we always end with the Ted reference, so, you know. Very AI-looking teddy bear.
We do end with a Ted reference. You're right. Oh,
very AI-looking teddy bear.
That's stretching it, but I'll take it.
Anyway, so Jimmy's very positive. You know, he's trying to be very positive because the commercial went well. He's trying to sell the friendly faced man on more ads. Again, trying to sell him like a toe in the water type package.
Oh God, right.
You know, basically selling more ads for a discount. You know, and I love this. Our nice guy here, our friendly faced man. He'd like to do more.
He really would. He's like, well, gosh, Mr. Goodman, that sounds great.
I just love hearing him call him Mr. Goodman because, you know, that's people know, and that's so great. We're starting to build the brand of Saul Goodman. People know the name.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Yes, right. So yeah, I didn't want to take your thunder. Let you go through the thing. But,
no, it's fine.
Anyway, yeah, so he tells her, oh, yes, Mr. Goodman, I'd love to, but my wife was against this already, and I don't think that she's going to go for any more. I mean, we don't really have the money. I think it's a very human thing. She doesn't have the money for it. And then I love this. I love the attention. Jimmy's so good at his job. He has storyboards and everything lined up. And if you freeze frame the storyboards, you actually see all the stuff that went into that commercial. It's like, you know, the turning the recliners, little drawing of him. It's like actual storyboards.
Right. Nice.
So, you know, and he says, okay, look, I believe it's $3,500 for seven commercials for $3,500, which again is going down again, still covering his overhead, and with the $800 from the one commercial, and he's in. At least covered his everything.
Yeah, and he's got like a couple $100.
Yes, and the nice guy considers it. Our friendly face man considers it. If it's on credit, he says, well, do you take credit? Because that is a nice deal, and he's willing to work with them. So, maybe so. And they ask him to take credit. And this, to me, was a sad embarrassment.
Yeah, this was a really sad moment. Yeah.
Because you know what this moment symbolized, Steve? This symbolizes.
Well, it's basically like, for me, it symbolized kind of just like, yeah, Jimmy can't do it on the straight and narrow. Like, you know, he's got to have that cash flow.
Yes, I mean that. Yes, you're right there, and it's also this sort of like it's symbolic song, but like, you know, it's kind of that really cutting line that was in the first episode of this line, the first episode of the season. The you know, whole "you're an ambulance chaser lawyer." It's like, you know, you're like, even back with that hurtful thing the Kettleman said. You know, like, you know, you're not the kind of lawyer we'd go to.
Right.
You know, just that whole, like, it's just like that little burn to Jimmy that, you know, you're not on the up and up. It's like, again, you're kind
a lawyer that guilty
Jimmy.
People hire.
Thank you. Yes. So, you know, it's just that sad embarrassment of Saul Goodman that and as we know in the future, Saul Goodman only deals in cash. It's like the whole, no, you're not on the up and up. No, we can't. But, you know, Saul Goodman just cannot deal in credit.
Yeah, I just, you know, he just is so ashamed that he can't. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's really sad. It is. Then it's a no. It's a no. Then he says, I'm going to go get your money. Again, friendly face man. He's still holding me up, and I'm just going to give him his money. It's all friendly there. So then, then just money for the one ad. So then we're in the aftermath of that. This is going to be a very important setup. He's paying the crew out in front. You know, he's paying the crew out in front. He's giving Kid Kubrick's asking about a four-way split. And he says, "I'll split you 4 ways." Just Jimmy's not having it. And he's already feeling down about those.
Kid Kubrick mentions expenses, and he's like, "Hey, expenses? You want to talk about expenses? This whole thing is about expenses."
It is. Oh yeah, that was a fun way of working in the episode, by the way. The expenses.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
just going through all you.
I love how the episode title is kind of like turned into like an Easter egg in itself. It's like, oh, there it is.
Yep. Even with the off-brand, it's nice when they kind of come up.
Or chicanery.
Yes, absolutely. And not just when they thematically, that's absolutely what the episode's about. It's like, hey, they even said it, too.
Exactly. I want to say at least this season they've made a point of saying every episode title in the episode.
Oh, yeah, there was Witness. There was... Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they have mentioned him on all the episodes. Okay. So let's see. Where is going to... So again, I just love he gives all the wrath of crap to Kid Kubrick over just the minute... He's already suffered like a big blow to his ego about the credit card thing. This guy's asking about, you know, a 4-way split. I'll split you 4 ways. And he's just going through the thing there. He's got all expense pays. He's doing the job of he's wearing many hats essentially,
Mm-hmm.
producing and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And importantly, Jimmy makes a point that the commercial costs $445 to make. Jimmy makes
No, it's fine. It's fine.
he makes commercial $445. Jimmy makes $100 profit for all of his hard work. Again, kind of like the community service thing.
Yeah,
all that hard work,
right.
I don't know,
Yeah,
even lower than bare minimum.
And that is kind of like, doesn't he give Kid Kubrick $100?
I forget what this. I want to say the split was the 400. I don't know exactly how the money was divided. So I mean, the commercial was for 800.
Kubrick's go-to line. It's like, oh, I'm, either way, I'm getting my $100.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Tiki. Yeah, because you're right. He always does mention the $100. He always does.
Yeah.
You're right. All right. So then I want to hear another word about expenses. Cut to Kim divvying up the expenses.
Oh man.
Oh, that's really well put together. Again, editing's always been kind of one of the coup de graces of the.
And of course, anyone who's like been in a relationship where you live with the other person, this is always the conversation you dread having.
Yeah, Jimmy owes around $1,586. As an envelope of cash. Kim points out, Kim points this out, like, oh my god, you like empty your bank account, and again, this is like such a painful line. Oh my god, this episode's so well. She mentioned that opening episode. I really love this episode, so I like a lot of stuff like this that builds to a wonderful climax. Just pointing out there. So, Kim pointing this out again, kind of taking a dig at Jimmy's pride, almost saying, "What?" She's joking when she's saying, "Did you empty your whole bank account?" Where Jimmy most likely did.
Right.
It's so sad. We're seeing the fall of Jimmy. This episode, just to predicate all this, folks. This episode, this moment going forward, especially, this is the fall of Jimmy McGill. That's what
This episode is almost kind of like the death of Jimmy McGill, and then episode 8 forward is sort of like Saul Goodman is just taking over more and more.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you didn't say it just was Saul, because again, it's like basically we mix things in the next one. Let's save that for episode 8.
Of course.
But you're right though. Yeah, this is kind of the fall of the House of McGill. Well, no, we had the fall of the House.
That sounds so dramatic.
Well, to be clear,
it sounds like Game of Thrones or something.
Well, the fall of the House of McGill was actually episode 5. This is just the death of James McGill. Death of a salesman. This is death of a lawyer.
Right. Okay.
Death of a lawyer,
or at least death of an elder law guy.
Well, if you want to just add words to it, sure. Anyway, so Jimmy's putting up a strong front, just saying, he's just throwing that, kind of throwing Kim off the scent there. Kim, right. Then Kim questions if he's draining bank accounts, which he denies. Jimmy covers the Chinese food again. It's kind of the Walter White pride thing is all throughout this episode. Jimmy's just
of course, right.
He's paying for the Chinese food when he really shouldn't, because he uses kind of the last of the money in his wallet to pay for the Chinese food. Kim offers the cover. He says, "No, I got it." Again, Walter White pride. He skips out on the tip, just gives the guy $1, and then the guy's griping about, which you really shouldn't be.
We can make it 0.
Yeah, a little callback there. And again, it's so sad that Jimmy he has to using his last $1 just to kind of show Kim that he's okay. Yep. Anyway,
okay, and then we have the return of a beloved fan favorite, Dragon.
Yes, Price.
It's not Mike, but we still love Price, man. That guy. He's still.
If the price is right,
it's a miracle this guy isn't dead yet.
Very true. Maybe because he serves a very special purpose down the line.
A purpose coated in lasers and tag.
Maybe, Tiki. Just maybe.
Yes. Okay, folks. Great to see Daniel Price again. Of course, he's just he's just so lovable, man. He's such a lovable dope.
This guy's a good actor, by the way. I've seen him in some other shows. He's really funny. He's really good.
So he's just like, ho-hum, like walking into his house, and Nacho just startles the crap out of him. And
I love this. It's the instant logic of this. As he walks in, the alarm goes off because he's entered. And then, of course, this would mask any entry that Nacho would make. So Nacho's just sitting there in the chair.
And then I love, Nacho is basically just like, I only want to talk. And then Price, of course, Price, the first thing he brings up is like, oh, talk? Is that code for stealing my baseball cards?
Oh,
like,
Price.
Oh my God.
You're right. It's a miracle that Price isn't dead. It really is. Let's thank the Albuquerque gods for that one. Thank you for not killing Price, because he would be dead 8 times over. Tuco, if he dealt with Tuco, he'd be dead in 5 seconds. That'd be like, let's just put the adorable penguin in the cage with the bloodthirsty shark. Let's just put him in the little. Let's put him in the little thing ice there.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I love this too. You'll notice this too. I hope you notice that. Price's door since the break-in, he's is the alarm system, but also like God knows how many deadbolts are on the door, yet Nacho still got in there. Just being the gag, in addition to the instant jump to the baseball cards, without realizing, oh my God, a guy who could have easily killed me is in my apartment. It's like, what are you doing? You gonna steal my cards again?
God.
He's holding a grudge over the baseball cards. Right, so Price wants an apology for that. He says, why are you here? Are you here to apologize?
Because that's the only thing I want to hear from you right now, Mister.
You gotta give Price this. It's mostly out of stupidity.
A miracle that he isn't dead.
I'm gonna cite it one more time. Just we'll see how the season goes. I'm saying again. The Godfather comparison with the Sons of Ermentrout here again. This Price is Fredo. He's Fredo.
Oh God, right.
He's the dopey son again. Your heart goes out to him, but he's not cut out for the business.
No shit. Right now, you're Fredo. Little Saul Goodman quote there.
I know. Hence the Godfather thing.
Yes.
All right. So he wants an apology. Nacho wants to do business. He shows him the heart pill capsule.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, just to boil it down the plot here, he asks if Wormhole can get more of this in his work, because Mary works in pharmaceuticals. They kept it vague so they can just like kind of play fast and loose with all the pharmaceutical logic of how Price can get his hands on these things.
Yeah, but I mean, I know a thing or two about medication, and I know, it's like usually like even if a pharmacy isn't carrying something, you should be able to get a referral and get some samples. So I think it's pretty much on the money. From what I know,
it is on the money. I'm just saying that was kind of the clever loophole they left for themselves. Well, we knew he worked in pharmaceuticals, we just never said how, and just so we can upgrade him if we need be, which they did here, which I got a point for. So basically, Price pharmaceutical job. He mentions it they don't get these, but as Tiki just said, they can be ordered for trial samples. For trial samples, they can order stuff for trial samples. Nacho needs them, but emptied before they're sealed.
Oh yeah,
and which of course leads to the necessity of Price. And Price fears that if he doesn't, fears and what if I don't? Basically what if I do and if I don't? What's stand from you doing so? Well, no, he brings it up a little bit later on. But he says something along those lines here. But he just fears, and if I don't, Nacho offers him $20,000, which was, I believe, the going price for any of their transactions in the past. A very serviceable, transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nacho leaves out the sliding door again. All these security measures, and he has just the big old sliding door in the back. No metal, nothing. Just big old sliding door. Could easily be broken.
And I love the payoff to the security thing that we get.
Yep.
Priceless.
So let's see. So Mike. So speaking of just kind of Price and Nacho and kind of Sons of Ermentrout, let's get to Big Daddy himself here. So yeah, Mike.
Let's talk about Mike. Let's talk about Mike.
Of course, because let's not forget, folks, we love Mike Ermentrout. We do. We love him to pieces. Not only do we love him, we love the actor. We love Jonathan Banks.
Let's be honest. We're just hopeless fanboys about the guy. We really are.
Let's not forget. Now he's Dr. Jonathan Banks. Let's give him credit.
Right.
No, seriously, he's a doctor. You got a doctor and everything. He's Dr. Jonathan Banks.
Mm.
Yeah. If he ever became a supervillain, he'd be like the most terrifying supervillain. Dr.
Banks.
Oh my God, T! If we ever have like a medical thing, we gotta call it Talking Dr. Banks.
Well, we're not ever going to have a medical thing because I think you and I are both. Yeah, absolutely. Like you and I both have the medical phobia, man. I'm right there with you on that.
Oh wait, Honeymore's got a new show, The Good Doctor. If we ever want to talk about it, Talking Dr. Banks.
Oh man.
He does. Did you see the trailer for it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Looks good. I'm just saying. Anyway, so In essence, folks, we love Mike Ermintrout, and of course, we wouldn't be spending so much time on it if we didn't have a soft spot for the guys. We've been tracking this season how often and kind of the approximate location of where we're loving Mike this season. These many episodes, we're down to 7 episodes. We're up to 7 episodes. So we want to see like how has the love traveled this season for Mike?
Let's see. So last episode it was here. This episode, Dragon, we go right to the right below center, right there. We love Mike right about there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. On with the Mike love. So Mike is just very deliberately pulling out his stash of cash from underneath the floorboards,
from the truck heist.
Kind of a very Walter White-esque, like putting him in the the crawl space almost.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Mike's at work. We then see what he did with that money. He's at work on the foundation for for a walkway and eventual foundation for a little play area that he's constructing. Per Stacy's wishes, for the church, for the community. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Dragon, this might be one of the most relatable Mike Ehrmantraut scenes ever.
And again, this ties in that whole Mike being Mike being kind of alone. We've never seen Mike put in this position really. We've seen just
Dragon. I can just say I am the kind of asshole coworker where if you give me a job where I can just be in the corner, inventory is a great example. I volunteer at the museum store, right? And whenever I get to do inventory, I'm like, that's perfect. It'll fill out my hours. I'll just get to be alone. I won't need to worry about awkward social interactions. I'm good. So I can very much relate to Mike when, of course, he's just sitting there, trying to dump the cement and mix it and everything like that, trying to do everything by himself. And Dragon, if I was Mike, I'd be in the same exact situation. Even if it would get the job done faster to have more people, I'd be like, I'd rather just do it alone, So I just have written down in my notes, based on Mike's body language, it's like he needs to work alone in that moment. He's like, please, just let me do this alone. But of course, that's not going to happen. You want to go over Anita's entrance here?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, as we've kind of just touched on here, is that the church wants to help. They want to reimburse Mike, which he refuses, of course, because he's using kind of his ill-gotten gains for the benefit of others. He wants to do the job himself, and they're essentially the volunteers are begging to help. Mike gives them tasks. He gives them. Gives the 2 guys. We don't really have names on Blake. He gives the 2 guys. One of them, I think, is the leader of the mission. So whatever, of the group. So he gives them basically the 2 guys cement mixing and basically mixing cement. That's kind of what he tasks those 2 guys with. And then he meets Anita. So Anita, he tells Anita to brush the surface for the walkway. Because initially she says she wants help. She's smoothing things out because he's smoothing the cement. Would you like to tell him?
I mean, you're doing fine. Basically, I just really like this idea, though, and it's, you never really think about it, right, Dragon? When you see those little indentations on the cement.
Yeah.
And so it's just a very logical thing. It's so kids don't slip in the rain.
Absolutely, and I kind of like how they play it because initially, Mike is just kind of smoothing out the surface, and she's doing that too, just to show she's competent, and then Mike says, it would seem almost insulting. I like how she kind of takes it as that for a moment of maybe you should take this, basically take the brush, take. Then
Dragon, I was in. Can I just say I was in a job where they were supposed to be training me for other stuff beyond just sweeping, and for the 6 months I was there, every day, go out and sweep. It's too much work to actually train you on stuff. Just go out and sweep. So I know how insulting the sweeping thing is. All right, I've been there. Well? I just want. I paid minimum wage. So
okay, so
not really.
That'd be a firm note then. Okay, so yes, so we have the.
And it wasn't even a permanent job. It was a 6-week program. But whatever.
Anyway, so she sweeping thing that basically prevents slippage. You're right. It's a really nice, realistic bit, and again, it's kind of a little bit of bonding there. She's thanking Mike for allowing.
It's kind of a neat, well, now you know.
Yes, right. It's a very now you know moment. Then
Knowledge is power, right, kids? Right, combat, Carl. That's
Yes,
right,
Mr.
Mike. Stay in school. I graduated 60 years ago, Carl.
I'm a doctor.
Oh, God. Okay.
Anyway, so Mike.
Yeah.
Mike and they can properly meet each other after like a little bit of Mike kind of getting out of his shell a little bit, accepting some help, at least like instructing the help, which we know he's good at because that's kind of that's his bread and butter as a fixer.
Of course.
It's a nice little moment there, which will definitely pay off. So Mike's returns.
Also like Anita. I also like Anita's just thanks for not trying to do this all by yourself. That was a good line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm sorry. You're right. Mike's return to the toll booth.
Proud of a constructive day's work.
Mm-hmm. He kind of just has a hunch, and he asks the guy to stay
Carl.
for to hold the fort. Yeah, Carl. He asked Carl to hold the fort for a couple minutes, and that's the
bit I love. I love that. While Mike's not the sociable guy, like he has these moments of interaction with the blue collar type stuff. Like, hey, Carl, can you hang around for a few minutes?
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's respect there. So right, he goes to take your seat.
Okay, so I just want to address right off the bat. I just absolutely I love Price's baseball game that he's constantly playing.
Yep. It's not as hilarious as his ringtone though. Remember his ringtone? The dun 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 dun.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. Dragon, I just want to say, Rick and Morty, they had Jerry's Balloon Game as an iPhone app. And if they had Price's baseball game as like an app, I would download the shit out of that. Dragon.
You're gonna like
this for novelty's sake.
Here's a fun little Easter egg with Price: is that he has a wristwatch on, like kind of a wristbandy wristwatch, and it's really bright yellow, maybe a little bit of red. Basically, it mirrors the giant Hummer colors.
Oh God.
It's like what he had that when he was completing the ensemble because he wore shoes that were yellow and red just to match the
right. Oh man.
Hummer. So he's still like it's a little it's like a little symbol of when he was successful.
Oh, Price is he's just a gift, man. He is just a gift.
The gift that keeps on giving. And by the way, very talented with the yo-yo. Look, we got him the job.
I can believe that.
That is. So anyway, right, so Mike he finds Price. So he's playing his baseball game.
Is this your way of being subtle?
He says, he's not stealthy. I never claimed to be good at this.
Well, good. I'm glad we can agree on something.
Essentially, he offers Mike a job. He offers Mike the same job he had before, just being provide backup. Give him $1,500. Mm-hmm. To avoid making a mistake like last time when Mike advised him not to meet with Nacho alone.
Right.
Anyway, and not go there in the giant obvious fleece me please Hummer. So Mike's giving him advice now. Says, look, don't get, if you're worried about making a mistake, don't get involved in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm involved already. I'm not. Mike tries walking away from it very smartly. Again, he doesn't want to. Mike at this point, we should address this with his character arc this season. Mike at this point, he really is, and we're definitely going to hit upon this in episode. He's definitely feeling guilt over that Good Samaritan that got killed because Mike was just kind of. Because Mike was he wasn't playing it safe. He was just kind of playing. You know what? They threatened my family. Screw them. I'm going to mess with Hector Salamanca.
Mm-hmm.
So going past that, he did something kind of out of his own vanity, which is he was kind of playing cowboy, and it kind of backfired big time with his conscience of someone who was innocent got killed because of me. So because of that, Mike's trying to smartly avoiding the Salamancas at all costs, which of course includes Nacho.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries walking away from it, but then Price explains the Nacho of it all.
Yeah, he mentions Nacho's name, and that just stops Mike dead in his tracks.
Yep, and then he realizes, oh boy, this connects to stuff that I got fring on the side. It could be a war that breaks out. Yep. Basically, Shane can't leave on the horse type mentality. Like, nope, I got to go back and help the kid.
Oh, man. Okay,
Again,
so
he's helping Fredo deal with Sonny.
exactly. Okay, so I love the I love the payoff to the security system. Like Price is just so, he's explaining the situation. He's like, Nacho somehow got through the security system. I have no idea how. Mike's just like, all he had to do was unplug your phone lines. Price is just speechless. He's just, oh, that's it?
Yep.
That's so great. That's so great. Oh my god.
Yeah. So he tells him about the Ledger Still capsule plan. Basically, the whole basically it's like nitroglycerins. That's what Ledger Still is. And I believe that's on the money. I'm pretty sure they may take a little bit of what it looks like was the color of it, but regardless, it's it's the Ledger Still capsule. Mm-hmm. Price is worried that either way, if he does or if he doesn't, he might. He might not walk away from his word. Something bad might happen to him, and and unfortunately, he can't just like Mike advised him. Okay, look, just tell him he can't do it.
Find a way out of it.
Yeah, because he knows the shipment's coming in 2 days. I mean, he knows this. There's no way of me just saying like it's not. I wasn't able to do it or anything. So then right, Mike, then just make up an excuse. Make an excuse, get out of it, whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. You find a way out of it. So Mike wants no part of the job. He wants no part of the job. Not interested.
Okay. So let's see. Oh God, I love this moment with Kim here, Dragon. It's so realistic. So
there is a very subtle camera move in this scene. It's like blinking you miss it. They actually go on. Don't let it.
Yeah. So essentially, Kim gives herself 5 minutes on the little stopwatch thing on her phone, and then just smash cut. She closes her eyes and smash cut. She wakes up. Dragon, I have been in that position so many times, like on the bus and whatnot. Oh, that's so realistic. Anyways,
2 things about this real quick is that one, that I love that being in 2002, it's not on her phone. She has like an actual timer.
Right.
She carries around with her because she's so business savvy.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that there's this really great subtle thing that captures that napping effect so well. Is that what they do, Tiki? Is there's a little effect where they pushed in very slightly when she woke up. So basically, it's like a little jet. It pushed in ever so slightly when she was jolted out of her sleep, which implies the 5 minutes passed, but it went by so fast, like we all felt taking like those little dozing off or something.
Sure.
That's how they captured that so well. Okay, so she's been taking that little power nap so she can go in the Mesa Verde.
Mm-hmm. And so, oh god, just more Paige love, Dragon. Let's just pile on the Paige love. Pile it on.
I think they wrote that Paige bit in this episode for us. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I'm getting suspicious with like the Howard Hamlin team.
That's what I'm saying.
God. Anyways,
so
first of all, the thing I love about Paige, Dragon, just to get it all out there, man.
All right,
she's seriously a great little side character,
and a friend of Kim, so instantly she's likable.
So I just love how Paige, it's like she's a professional first, right? Like, first and foremost, she's a professional. So she's saying, like, look, I had concerns, and I read all the transcripts. And the great thing about Paige is that she's a professional first, but she's got a fun side to her. And she likes to make light of how pompous things can get in the professional world. And that's just such a great quality to have. You know what I mean? Like, a professional who's not afraid to make fun of themselves and make fun of, like, the atmosphere they're in.
Yeah,
I'm gushing.
Essentially, Kim and Paige are kind of, Paige is chatting Kim on the way up, kind of in the aftermath of episode 5. Just the buzz from basically the idea is in between episodes, there's been a lot of buzz from the hearing and the transcripts. Basically the transcripts are kind of like lawyer newspapers. It's like, oh my god, it's like the news for lawyers. It's like they entertain themselves.
AMC, please release the transcripts on the website. That'd be fantastic.
It would be fantastic, and I could definitely see that happening. Again, this would fill in some blanks of what did the old people say about Jimmy?
Right.
And she just basically, I love that's the way lawyers entertain themselves. They read transcripts. I think it's hysterical. So, she loves how they destroyed Chuck on the stands. Apparently, she's really building up, because again, she had her issues with Chuck, the whole muddying the waters thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that she brought up the Magna Carta thing because remember Because remember, he's been throwing that Magna Carta line, God, for like 3.
Right.
He told it to Kim one after Magna Carta, and then he brought up on the tape, and then of course, being on the tape was brought up during the thing. So always he brought up in his big kind of strawberry meltdown scene. So yeah, the Magna, just all and chicanery. Like she's making fun of the terminology Chuck's been.
Who talks like that?
Yeah. So later, going up, you can visually see Kim's a little like she's not eager to kind of put Chuck down, and we address this, and wonderfully we address this. Oh my God, great scenes all throughout this episode. So later, they're essentially the reason Kim's there. She's going through some Mesa Verde stuff. Basically, let's see what it is here. Basically,
it's a higher loan to deposit ratios.
Yes. Like there's like a question of price with the whole loan to deposit ratio percentage, like the percentage of the increase.
Right.
And basically in Arizona versus Utah, I guess, because they're branching out from Arizona to Utah, I think.
I don't think it matters the specifics. I think all we need to really take from the scene is that Kim is just being very overworked, and
yes.
So. Yeah.
The point is, so Paige believes it's higher than it should be because the only reason I bring up Arizona is basically 2 different locations. That's the main points. Arizona one's in Utah. They have a bunch of branches. That's about it. So she believes it's higher than it should be in this new location they're trying to go to. And Kim knows that it's not because, again, she's gone over this thing with a fine-tooth comb because she doesn't want to end up like Chuck McGill.
Sure, of course.
Which, again, is kind of that ultimate Twilight Zone payoff to everything they've done. Because, again, she knows that, yes, we were in the wrong, but Chuck, he put us in that position, man. It's great.
Would Howard Hamlin be the Rod Serling of this Twilight Zone?
Don't tease me. Here's the thing. Realistically, it would be Jimmy, all right? Realistically, it would be Jimmy in like a Mr. Show style thing where he would be the.
But you could totally see Patrick Fabian in like a Rod Serling suit with a cigarette and everything.
I gotta mention because he's not in the episode. I gotta mention one Howard Hamlin thing real quick.
Okay.
I'll probably have to mention the next one real quick.
Oh God.
Just on the Insider podcast, Howard. I remember he said this way back when he echoed it on the most recent because he was on the most recent episode of the Insider podcast talking about episode 8. The way that Patrick Fabian gets in character for Howard Hamlin,
oh God,
is that he says 80% of it's in the suit. So he basically puts on the Hamlin, puts on the fancy suit.
The Hamlin to go blue.
Yes, the Hamlin to go blue. Any suit, usually, if not Hamlin to go blue, it's a rarity that it's not Hamlin to go blue. When he puts on the suit, it's 80% of it. He says 80% of it's the suit, and basically the other 20% is him with the mentality, looking himself in the mirror, building himself. Basically, builds the ego of Hamlin. He plays Hamlin as the privileged lawyer from HHM. He plays him as like the most confident, like sophisticated, dressy, best dressed man. Basically, his mindset in his mind is mantra.
Why, yes, thank you. I do have an amazing suit.
No, seriously, that's his mentality. When he looks in the mirror, he thinks to himself, "I'm the best dressed man in this room." Right. That's his mantra. He says that when he gets in character. It's like, man. He thinks he has the mentality of, "I'm the best dressed man in this room right now." And that's the origin of Hamlin.
Nice.
Anyway, so Hamlin tangent aside from Mr. Rod Serling, Hamlin. Back to so Kim's getting a little irritated. She just basically kind of prove it to Paige. She tosses the guideline book about all the basically all the work that she's been combing through this book. I guess the big old binder of like the guidelines for this branch opening stuff. Just slams it on the tables, like tosses it on the table, which creates like a slam effect. And shakes the glasses and everything. You're gonna check them, or can we move on? And like a moment of pause goes by. Moving on.
And then Dragon, I just have in my notes like, oh my God, Seahorn's acting.
Yes. Oh God,
because she doesn't miss a beat, right? It's like, as you say, like one moment goes by, and then it's just like you can see just the remorse start to build up in her face.
Now, Tiki, while there's so many great things in this episode, my 3 moments boil down. Well, my favorite things boil down to 3 moments. This is number 3. They go they go backwards chronological order. So this is number 3. 3 is reverse chronological order. So 3 is this moment with Kim, where it's just so this is like why I wrote my notes in like parentheses why we heart Kim. It's just why we heart Kim. Just I love I love it when we have characters that can just kind of wear it on their sleeves when they're feeling act, when they can voice it to other characters. Like just immediately Kim calls
Which
herself.
is so, like, I can totally relate to that.
So rare. It's like a big... I don't see this every day.
I mean, I am absolutely the type of person, like, if I fuck up, I tell you I fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yep. And again, it's like this, the character's realism on TV. You rarely see that.
For sure.
Again, anti-Skylar. Sure. Just the Bizarro Skylar, but the best Bizarro Skylar ever.
Right.
So, she basically just immediately calls herself in the unprofessional moments, says, Paige, I'm so sorry. That was completely unprofessional. There's no excuse for that shit.
And then, again, this is like why we love Paige part 2.
Yeah.
She's like, don't even worry about it. It's totally fine. I've already forgotten about it. So should you.
And then a moment of, oh, God, this scene is so well directed. Oh, my God. A moment pause goes by after that.
Oh, God.
Then Kim just, she makes it clear that, Paige, we tore down a sick man. And
that's all we did as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes. That's a good scene.
Yeah.
That's a good scene.
I'm sorry, folks. This podcast is going to have a lot of gushing. And it doesn't even have Howard Hamlin in it.
I know, right?
Episode. Anyways.
Okay, so let's see. That's, again, my third favorite, so we'll go. Okay, so next day we're at the community service. Saul Goodman scrambles afterwards, the community service, and then the aftermath of him returning from community service. He's scrambling to get to the next job.
Mm-hmm.
He picks up the crew, but unfortunately, as they load the gear into the car, the steam doesn't start. So Jimmy's losing his
I love
steam.
how irritated he gets at King Kubrick. Like King Kubrick's just like, you're overcranking it, man. You're overcranking it.
You're gonna flood it.
Will you please stop talking about things that you know nothing about?
Oh yeah, and with the great symbolism of the cars, he gets caught in the steam as we've always pointed out. It's the steam like inside joke, but it's also the fact that Jimmy is losing his esteem.
Right.
So
basically, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. So basically, the battery drains, and then makeup girl's trying to say like, "Hey, there's a bus. We can take the bus."
Again, she's so optimistic.
And then I just love the speed that goes by, Dragon. Jimmy's just like, "I just need to think for 1 minute." Beat goes by. We're taking the bus.
Yes.
And I don't know. I really love the image of like Kid Kubrick and Boom Mike guy and makeup girl on the bus together.
Okay,
like
I love
the boom mic trying to like getting in a passenger's face or something.
Oh yeah. The film crew is so great. They've always been great.
As you said, I think the film crew is kind of like everything we were hoping that the Skater twins would be.
Yeah.
All right.
If we ever reach a final season, they're probably gonna bring the Skater twins back. But until then,
at this point, I don't think we need them. At this point, I think the Skater twins kind of like being like the Jesse Pinkman avatar for the series. That was just kind of a pipe dream. Like
honestly,
we don't. The show's been absolutely fine without the Skater twins.
TK, I gotta be honest, I still gotta wonder, have they even recouped, because of the timelines in these shows, have they even recouped from their injuries yet? Has it been 6 months?
I wouldn't say it's been 6 months. I would think so.
So it hasn't been 6 months?
I would say it has. I would say it has been at least 6 months.
All right, I'm just, again, like they always play with the messy timelines like that. Well, not messy in a bad way, I'm just saying it's always like, like a lot of stuff happens in a short amount of time. In a realistic way. Anyway, so moving on.
Okay, so Jimmy is just like trying to teach the younger generation about music. He's going on about the Stratocaster signed by Richie Blackmore.
Mm-hmm.
What does the name Richie Blackmore mean to you? Someone I've never heard of. Oh God, and Dragon, this is great because I'm a Pink Floyd fan. Like, Boom Mike, Boom Mike guys, Jimmy's like, it's Deep Purple, man. Come on, and Boom Mike guy's like, oh yeah, another brick in the wall. Dragon, just insider Pink Floyd fan thing, okay? Like, most Pink Floyd fans hate the song Another Brick in the Wall because it's like by far the most radio friendly song that Pink Floyd's ever put out, so therefore it's the most overplayed song that Pink Floyd's ever put out, and just Another Brick in the Wall just does not represent Pink Floyd's music. I'm sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent.
Answer me one thing.
Okay.
Do you know who did Smoke on the Water?
That is Deep Purple.
I will explain why Jimmy likes him.
Yeah.
And of course, we pay that off, but we're not going to say when, but we pay that.
Okay. Right.
All right. Right. So now I weep for this generation. All right. Let's see. So, all right. So Kubrick's giving him guff. Is wrote them. So Kubrick gives him guff as per usual. Then we have the music store owners. They drop on by the music store owners. They're having second thoughts, which is not good.
But we have cue cards.
Yeah. He tries to sell. Tries selling him on the idea again with the cue cards and the cue cards. One so it was.
And also, he's just trying to sell them on the brand awareness. Like
right.
When people think guitars, they're gonna think ABQ and tune.
Also, like James Garner and Marriott Hartley. Marriott Hartley,
something like that. Yeah, for less than the price of that Richie Blackmore beauty you've got on that rack.
Yeah, and again, it's shown that he knows the product too. I mean, again, that's good. That's a good sale. Jimmy is nothing but not a good salesman.
Oh yeah. And then, oh god, I love how the music guys, they call out the time slot and, the murder she wrote. And it's like, but grandmas love buying the gift of music. And school's coming up. Where are they going to get the recorders? We don't sell recorders. Well, look, guys, the Social Security check's got to be spent somewhere, right? Come on.
His love is such a desperate sale, and
then he gets even more desperate.
Yeah.
He goes 50% off, which is at that point, that is putting him in the red at that point, I think.
It is, and then he gets more and more he gets more desperate. I just love that. I love the speed of desperation. Not like him going further, like 25 or anything. It's like he goes his. Basically, it's like, okay, try selling them on it. They say no. He says 50% off. And like, how can you argue 50% off? Just over 9. And then he gets the most desperate as his third option, just free. And it's, the sadness I felt when he said, like, oh, Jimmy. This is what I said for like, oh, poor Jimmy. Then he sells it as, he basically strikes a deal up with him. Like, tell you what, I'll do one commercial for free. You put it on the air, and if it proves a good return, we go with the other deal with the other spots for the original rate. Agreed, and it's agreed. They like it. Okay, free commercial. We're down for that. Then we have my second favorite scene of the episode.
It's a wonderful moment. Yeah.
Oh boy, it's just this sad scene of Jimmy paying the crew out of his own wallet, most likely $100 and he's defeated Jimmy yet again. Defeated Jimmy, kind of word of the episode. Defeated Jimmy. Defeated Jimmy just sits on like one of those little, he sits on the curb, I guess, a little shopping strip mall. And again, I love that it's a strip mall because very much where Saul Goodman's going to end up. That's where this location is. He's going to end up in this place.
Of course.
If not specifically this place, then a strip mall like this place.
Oh, it'd be weird if it was specifically this place.
I'm serious, though. What if it was the same place?
That would be pretty wild.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, it's the sad Jimmy's just kind of sitting there as the rest go to the bus, and then we have this, oh my God, this beautiful moment. This utterly beautiful moment. I tell you, it was like so. I was so moved by this. The makeup girl, everyone's going off to get the makeup girl. Makeup girl lingers back, and she offers Jimmy her share of the cash. Mm-hmm. She offers Jimmy gives Jimmy her money, gives Jimmy his money back. And she says, well, no, that's yours. But you're losing money. Oh, my God, Roman, that's so nice.
I know.
Such a beautiful moment.
Vera Farmiga is just smiling down from heaven right now.
Yes. Pierre loves this moment, too, by the way. He adores this moment. Just Jimmy won't take it again. That pride. And the fact that he won't. Nick Ford's also giving like this is what an actual pleasant.
Right. I'd like to think that Norma Bates and Nick Ford just have like great cocktail parties up in heaven.
Right. And of course, Nick Ford is just giving kind of like that, like attaboy Clarence, but this case, attaboy Jimmy.
Oh God.
God, that Frank Capra ending, it was like, attaboy.
Oh man.
Anyway, so there's like the ultimate pleasantry of no, you keep that money. You earned it. I'll be fine. And just Jimmy, the last image of Jimmy alone outside the strip mall. It's the destiny shot, I like to call it.
I just have in my notes. Now that's a good man.
Yes. Yeah.
That was totally unintentional.
It is a good man.
You just totally ruined the sentimentality of that moment, man. I wasn't trying to make a Saul Goodman pun.
Well, no, I agree with the two. Even in the early stages of Saul Goodman, there's some love there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. No, that's a good man.
That is a good man. It's a beautiful human being that's going to be crushed.
Yeah.
Like a bug. Okay, so Anita,
yeah. So she's kind of giving this monologue about washing Alan's clothes. We just get the name Alan. Dragon, I'm sorry. I have to get this out of my system, okay? I'm so sorry.
Oh jeez, what's this?
Jurassic Park 3 talking raptor. Alan!
Come on.
Alan!
That is a forced reference there. Come on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to get it out of my system.
Alan, that Jurassic Park, not even a
Alan.
Jurassic Park. You're going for Jurassic Park 3 of all the references you could have made.
The talking velociraptor in Jurassic Park 3 is the best cinematic moment in history, Dragon.
You're being facetious, aren't you?
It's the cinematic equivalent of Chippendale's Treehouse.
For the folks out there, he's being facetious.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Alan! All right, I'm done. I had to get it out of my system anyways.
For your sake, I really hope his name is Alan, because I don't recall what his name was. I'm just going to really hope he was named Alan.
I'm pretty sure he's named Alan, because I have that in my notes.
Right.
Alan!
Okay, so... Anita,
yes,
sharing a story about looking at her husband's old boxes. It's been 8 years. I don't mean to laugh at that. I'm still laughing at the Alan thing.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's a dumb joke. Okay, yeah. I mean, let's just be serious here. This is a sad monologue.
It is. You, you guys all laughing about Alan.
I know.
A woman's husband has died. Tiki. I hope you're happy.
So she's crying. She cried when she washed the clothes. She cried when she folded the clothes. She cried when she dropped them off. But once it was all done, it felt good, Dragon. I can kind of relate to that, kind of the catharsis of it all, kind of going through something tragic just to get it off your chest.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And of course, when she mentions the uniform, that kind of that gets Mike's attention.
Uh-huh. And it really strikes Mike, which of course is going to build up conversation. What transitions us to that conversation is kind of a nice little piece of just kind of mundanity, where the other members of the other kind of widowed members of the group, they're like, Stacy's chatting up about how Kayla's getting too much homework for her to help her out with. Like, yeah, they're just giving the kids too much homework. And the other guy's saying, oh yeah, I read somewhere so they're doing it just to give them busy work.
I even talked to the school system about it, and they agree that they can't do nothing.
But Stacey Stacey's a good parent. I like Stacey.
She is. I'm worried that there's going to be some sort of fallout between Mike and Stacey. That's something that I'm kind of, because remember, like in Breaking Bad,
she was really icy in the beginning.
Yeah,
really icy in the first appearance, and that. But then again, he was still allowed in the house to see her and everything, so it's up in the air.
Yeah, but it's still like kind of a hanging plot line that I'm worried about going forward.
You're right.
Anyways.
You're right.
Okay.
I guess the point is that thanks for the Mike and Anita chat. So
yeah, so basically, Mike's just, he's very sheepish. He's like, I don't want to pry, and she says like, no, he wasn't a cop. He was a Navy man, and I'm sure it's Alan, Dragon. Okay, not trying to joke about him. I'm sure it's Alan. It's like, so basically, Alan loved to hike. They opened a camping supply show. Or not a show, a store.
Yes, there you go.
Now I'm trying.
Hey, look at our camping supplies.
Right.
Look at do tricks.
It's like the camping supplies equivalent to tool time.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
anyways,
in all seriousness.
Yeah. So she helped him with the mail order site, and then one day he went hiking in a national park, and he never came back. And they found his car, but they did not find him. They don't know if he slipped and had, or had a heart attack or was killed or what, you know, like, or if he ran into someone who didn't like his face, but not knowing is the hardest part.
I tell you, on the rewatch, something dawned on me with this scene that makes this scene even better. I'm sure you know what this is. That I didn't mean. I'm having a Kim Webster. I didn't mean to make that sound condescending, Tiki. I'm sorry if it did.
No, it's fine. No condensation taken. It's fine.
Anyway, sorry, brief little Kim Webster moment there on my end. No. My point is, on the next episode, without getting into it, Mike's this scene motivates Mike to do what he does in the next episode. I believe on the rewatch is that this scene, like thinking of like not getting closure, really motivates Mike to do what he does in the next episode.
I could see that. Yeah. Okay.
To the point she's going on about the pain of not knowing, you know, how or you know where what happened and where he is.
Mm-hmm.
She wish it didn't matter, but it does.
Yeah, really good stuff.
And I think also just in the moment here, last thing is connects to the next bit, I guess, is that importantly in the moment, at least what I got from before we got to the next episode, is that you know I got a sense that Mike's in the moment here is just thinking about being haunted by uncertainty and just in consequence of like, well, Price might get in deep over his head, or he might be like another good Samaritan who's going to.
And again, with the kind of like the, you know, Don Corleone sons, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but seriously, it's like kind of like, you know, the reason he's so haunted by the one guy is because he wasn't in the game, and Price obviously doesn't belong in the game, and he knows this, and he like Price was asking for his help and turned him down. He's gonna have to live with his death on his conscience.
Sure.
And he doesn't want to do it, so he calls Price and tells him that he's in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. So, Dragon, we've been tracking how they're making the outside of the office more and more homely. Now they've got chairs set up.
Yes, they have chairs now.
Yeah,
nice. So they both have had a rough day.
Mm-hmm. So Jimmy mooches a cigarette off of Kim.
That's pretty usual.
Kim is just, you know, totally up to her neck in Mesa Verde stuff. And then, oh man, Dragon, this next scene is like, it's like there's such a sense of desperation in it, but I just love how nice Jimmy's being about it at the same time. It's like, come on, you're going to dinner with me. Nothing you can do to stop this.
I love how he gets her up from the chair like that.
Nothing you can do to stop this. You're coming.
Which I'm gonna. It's a deep cut reference. I'm convinced that's a toothbrush pull from Switch from last season. Like, there's nothing. I'm okay with this. I think it's a solid callback.
I could see that. Yeah, I hear you.
And here's the weird thing. I don't know if they got this confused in the Insider podcast or not, but it's just a different way. They shot it in a different way if it's the same place, but this is, according to the Insider podcast, this is the same place that they did their first slipping Kimmy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be, but it's just shot in a different angle. So points they're going to supposedly the same club where they can.
I can see that. Okay.
They're going there.
Yeah, so they're there, and let's see, like Jimmy's pointing out people like the Hitchcock and a rented toupee.
Now this, of course, it's an Annie Hall reference. This scene, this whole kind of very Manhattan Annie Hall-esque. You know, when they go in public, and what Woody Allen would do is just he comments on the people that make the girl laugh. He says, "Oh, look at this guy. In this case, Jimmy's doing excellent with the Alfred Hitchcock reference."
Let's see. He's kind of mentioning
a rented toupee. You know, from so you don't have to maintain it.
Yeah. And he's kind of mentioning that he's got a system of spreading the points around on his different credit cards so he doesn't max any of them out.
That's just
which
sad.
It's probably true to a certain extent, but he's just like underplaying how close he is to maxing them all out.
Oh yeah. And again, this is kind of it's sort of like a what if Walter White didn't get into the. It's like Walter White on the precipice of losing all the money, and then the family. Essentially, what I'm saying is, if Walter White didn't get into crystal meth, essentially, if he didn't get into meth making business, then it would have been just like a desperate man trying to maintain income for his family, kind of like Jimmy is right now.
You're right. Yeah, it is a kind of good reflection of that. Okay, so let's see. We get the Kevin Costner gag.
That's a fun callback. I love when they call this back. That
I look exactly like Kevin Costner.
Essentially, what they're doing here is they're plotting other things. They're in Kim's eyes, fancifully kind of like pulling, like plotting, slipping.
And in Jimmy's eyes, it's just absolute desperation. Like he needs the money bad.
Yes. And importantly, again, Kim's just looking at this like a fun, again, kind of like an Annie Hall version of their slipping Kimmy thing. Of, oh yeah, well we know we're not going to pull any slipping Kimmys because that would risk the PPD thing, which would be obviously a bad move. And
of course.
And you're waiting for like a celebrity. Okay, you're waiting here for a celebrity to donate to Giselle St. Clair's one of Giselle St. Clair's charities. And what celebrity? I'm Kevin Costner. I look exactly like Kevin Costner.
God.
Then we have this loudmouth.
Yeah. Oh God. You know what I call this? I call this a $14 glass of puke. Now get that idiot look off your face and give me another one. I want vodka.
Now, the way this has been read into, Teague, and I agree with this full-heartedly, I think this is making this scene goes on as we go through a lot of these cons. This guy reminds him of Chuck. It's kind of Chuck entering his mindset.
I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, because again, remember, as this,
I mean, it does kind of remind me of the way that Chuck would belittle Ernie. You know what I mean?
Yes. And you got to remember this is that as the scene goes on, it's like as it's fun in the rewatch as Jimmy and Kim are kind of talking throughout the scene. You can hear this guy continuous rant the whole way through.
Oh, God, right.
Just keeps going through it. So then she suggests the Marco coin trick.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love her again calling back the Marco thing. Really nice, building some stuff. She the guy rails on the waiter's boss and like, where's your boss? You boss, where is he?
Oh, God. Then Jimmy's just like, no, this guy's a real asshole. He needs to go down hard. Dragon, I have some of the snippets of his scheme, but I kind of get the feeling you would be able to explain it better than I would. So do you have it?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah. So
okay.
Essentially, importantly in the scene, Jimmy's. This is where things like again, it's getting fanciful. It's like, hey, we're plotting some sibling Kimmys, but then it goes from fun and fanciful to really bitter. And Jimmy gets really bitter because again, Chuck is now poisoning his mindset here, and the desperation because of Chuck is really setting in. Mainly, he's just the desperation is setting in. So he sees. He basically plots selling a worthless card, suggests that again his credit cards really are really that bad right now.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the plan is to sell a worthless credit card for $5,000, which again is exactly what he needs to kind of wipe his debt away. So that $5,000 would exactly put him $1,000 over.
Sure.
What he needs, which is what he's. You got to remember the expenses for the office, as we saw in this episode, it's around $1,500 a month, roughly. So again, this $1,000 on top of what he's already got would definitely help him. So basically, he tells Kim, you flirt with him. I don't have it like in the exact words that he uses, but here's what it happens. Just he's gonna you flirt with him. I'll play a drunk loser. But he's persistent. He'll persist. You claim that you're trying to roll me. Basically, she'll be rolling the drunk loser that is Jimmy, and basically, he'll want in. He'll want in like Kim trying to get up on the drunk loser that she's with.
Mm-hmm.
Then basically you buy me some booze to get me more drunk. You lift the card. And you basically steal Jimmy's own card.
Right.
You following this? He's asking at the moment where he asks, "Are you following this?" Essentially, Tiki, it's kind of like the Marco thing from way back when, because basically it's like we take something worthless and I get money from the other guy.
Sure.
That's essentially it's the same kind of Marco-esque plot, which I wonder. That's just occurring to me in the moment here. I'm so sorry. I'm just getting a little overcome by it, but it might be. It's also remembering a very unhappy thing with Marco because they trying to enact the son, of course, killed Marco.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the thing's just getting even more and more buried. Asking Kim if she's following this thing. Kim is actually getting legitimately frightened by how callous Jimmy is about this.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of, Dragon? It reminds me of that whole joke we had in season 2 of the Jaws poster, like Jimmy sitting with the drink and the full float, and then the Saul Goodman with his mouth open about to eat Jimmy. But seriously, it's such a well-played moment with with Ray Seahorn. She's just like, we're just talking, right? We're not doing this. We're just talking.
Oh God, she is so good.
And then of course Jimmy dials back right away as soon as she says that. He's like, yeah. Oh God, and of course, Dragon. I feel like that's the point of no return in their relationship.
I think debatably it's going to be the moment that happens right after this scene. Don't know, there's a lot of pauses, so it's very fair to say that to you. I'm just saying, like, after the Chuck thing, I think
I'm just saying, like, I really feel like this, like, that silence that Jimmy gives, I don't think she's convinced that he, like, this is the point where he's like, oh, okay, like, this guy is, like, he's such a good guy, but he's desperate, you know what I mean? And desperation is going to lead people to do really fucked up stuff. So
that's fair. But and then Kim, she brings up her guilt over Chuck, like she's been feeling a little guilty about Chuck, and then basically Jimmy says he doesn't feel it's warranted at all. Kim questions, was there another way? Mm-hmm. Of course, Jimmy's retort, of course, it was his own fault, which I'm in agreement with. But again, just that Kim's haunting question to Jimmy, basically Kim voicing his conscience there. Well, was there another way we could have gone about that? Mm-hmm. Basically, I would imagine a way that did not utilize Rebecca. Essentially, Rebecca is the insurance for that plan, I figure.
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, Rebecca just kind of drove the knife in. Everything else, they could have done the battery thing.
That champagne line, I'm telling you, it all started with that champagne line. They just couldn't have a good time after that.
So then here's Tiki. I kind of have the same thing you have with that moment, but again, I think the Chuck thing's just that's basically your thing, but that confirms it. I think the Chuck thing confirms it because after that we have a similar moment of pause where basically Kim realizes, he's callous about what's been kind of read into this scene is that neither one said what the other one wanted to hear. Like Kim wanted to hear from Jimmy. Yeah, there could have been another way.
Exactly.
Think about that other way. Just the fact that she's bringing up Chuck is really what Jimmy does not want to hear, and the fact that she's not hearing an ounce of remorse from Jimmy is not what she wants to hear. And then there's still this is the sad part, the sad punchline to it all is that they then go back to kind of they're slipping Kimmy mode here. But now it's like a marriage where the love is gone. That's kind of what it feels like. And that's I know that's the sad thing of it. Jimmy can read that disappointment in her voice in that moment you mentioned, where that whole. In the whole we're not actually doing this because that's when Jimmy felt the guilt. It's hard to see when the point of no return is. That's what I'm saying.
I think we can agree that it takes place in this scene, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying,
point of no return.
Yeah, because to me, it's like the marriage is over bit. That's the bit that breaks my heart. It's like, oh god, it's like when they just go back to it, you can tell like that pause and just like the way like we rack focus on like Kim just looking. I don't recognize him anymore. It's so hard. Then basically they're going like the whole South Africa, like yes, Giselle Sinclair some land in South Africa, and we can sell them on the mining rights. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mike and Price.
All right, Mike and Price. I would watch that spinoff.
I'd buy that ice cream. A new Regato Halada special. Mike and Price. It's like Mike and Ike's, but it's Price. Okay. And the big ice cream container is yellow and red, like the Hummer.
But more specifically, it's Nacho, Mike meeting with Nacho, and Price is kind of sitting back.
Yep.
Let me see. Like, Mike's just kind of, he's pressing for information. He's kind of playing the cards. He's like, look, I know your boss has heart problems. You want to switch out his heart pills. He's basically kind of calling Nacho on exactly what his plan is. Then Nacho's kind of explaining that he'll make the switch, Hector keeps the pills in his jacket pocket. He'll make the switch when he hangs up the coat. Then Mike is just, just very much kind of doing almost kind of like a half measures-esque speech here. I mean, not necessarily to the same level, but I like how it's kind of like, it's the same sort of like advice. You know what I mean? It doesn't have like the dramatic monologue attached to it, but he's just
It's kind of like a weird meld between a half measure speech meets like kind of the coffee bit with Jimmy from episode 4.
Right.
The whole like, how'd you know he was going to spill the coffee? He just tells him something very simple, but it has like all this meaning attached to it, like a half measure.
Sure. There's a lot of eyes on Salamanca. How are you going to stop them from finding out it was you? You want to make sure you know what you're getting into. And then Nacho's just like, I'm in it. I have no choice. And kind of explains the father situation. Yep.
So just to re-emphasize to the folks that there's an important plot thing with the father is that, again, there is a time-sensitive factor because the minute Salamanca demands that he involve his father in the business, that's the point of no return. So not just to act before that happens. That's why it's all time sensitive. That's why he has to do this now and not just bide his time. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he explains that, like his dad's a straight arrow. He'll go to the police, and then as soon as he goes to the police, he's dead.
Absolutely.
Which, great stakes for Nacho as a character, man. They've really done a good job of incorporating him more like, as I said in the last podcast, kind of making him a protagonist that the audience can really get behind, I think.
And Mike absolutely understands this because, again, it would be the exact Good Samaritan situation where a good guy who's not involved in the thing will have to be buried in a ditch.
Absolutely.
So Mike understands the sake, so he's not like saying don't do it. He's just making sure you're going to do this.
There are more people than the Salamakas to worry about. If you manage to pull this off without a bullet in your head, then you got to switch the pills. If anyone gets an inch, hold on.
I'm sorry.
If anyone gets an inch about the medicine not working, they're going to look at those pills. You switch them, then switch it back. And then let's see. Mike's just like, before we need this, I'm going to need one more thing from you. And that's where it cuts, right?
Well, yeah, but remember, he goes to the he checks the gas cap, see if it rings onto him.
Oh yeah, right. Of course.
All right, so then basically you switch the pills back after you switch them. So that's the important detail about Mike. Basically, so like there's no like, hey, someone switched the pills. Like, there's basically no trace at all. That's what he wants them to do. And one more thing, which Tiki, the one more thing is kind of what the follow up to Mike's thing in the beginning. We'll get to the point is, Mike needs information that Nacho has about a location of something, so we'll get that.
Gotcha.
Right, so then have a pen and paper. He has a pen and paper ready to get the information. So, oh my god, this is my favorite scene of the episode.
And Dragon, just so we're clear, I do have it like word for word. I'm ready to go all full monologue on it.
I know you do, but I have it too, and I want it.
You want it?
I want it.
You want it? Okay, you can take it. You can take it. Okay, that's fine. Dragon, I'm just curious. Does the name Santa Rosa mean anything to you?
It's no, it really doesn't mean anything to me. It sounds familiar, I guess.
It sounds familiar. Santa Rosa is the town where Charles Schultz spent most of his life.
Oh my god! Yes,
Santa Rosa, California.
Yes, that's why it's yes.
So Dragon, the Santa Rosa kind of pops up from time to time. You know what I mean? And every time I see it, because I live 2 towns away from Santa Rosa, I'm like, Santa Rosa. anyways, I'm sorry, just local pride. It's probably not the same Santa Rosa I'm thinking of, but anyways.
All right. Jimmy's at the Santa Rosa Insurance Group.
Yes.
Essentially the malpractice guys he's been calling all day long. So he finally meets with Doreen Valco.
I'm glad you're so specific on the name. That's
but
great.
Still, Doreen. I like Doreen.
Yeah.
She's a nice malpractice person.
Dragon, this is such a painful scene for me because I've been in the exact same sort of of course I'm not a lawyer who's arguing for, of course, not the exact same situation, but
wouldn't your life be so much more interesting if it was?
Oh yeah, it would be. But I've been in very similar situations where I basically had to go into insurance companies to basically beg them I've basically had to beg for them not to take away food stamps and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like government benefits and stuff like that. And it is just it is the worst feeling. And it's just so crushing. You know, you're fighting a losing battle. You know, they don't care about you. They don't care about your problems. I'm getting too deep into this. Let's go through it.
Okay. So then we have just to build this up because, oh my God, this is my favorite part of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
So just to build it up. So goes in meets Doreen. Oh, how nice is Doreen? She's welcoming him into the office and everything. So she's looking up the name, and of course McGill, and then without getting into the specifics, just of the full of James McGill Esquire, just James McGill, just pulls up McGill, which of course Chuck McGill, and of course just the reminder of Chuck, possibly gives him an idea, but most likely just puts him in a bad headspace right from the get go. No, not Chuck. James McGill, and then it's like these little digs at Jimmy because Jimmy's been. Let's also set the stage of the episode. Jimmy's been knocked down every turn in this episode. Jimmy has had the worst experience of. Honestly, I think it's the lowest point we've ever seen him at in this moment here.
Mm-hmm.
So, because as the the series Bible's always loved with Jimmy here is that he's always been able to bounce back from every knock on the chin he's gotten in the show. Every bad thing happens to him, he's always bounced back, or he has like a slipping Jimmy at the ready. He always has like a clever plot. In this case, he doesn't.
Sure.
He eventually, it's like a really bitter balance, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So he asked, basically he's asking what he's been asking on the phone all the live long day. You know, can he get a refund for his boiled end? Can he get a refund for the year, for the 12 months?
And I like how he even makes a compromise. He's basically like, look, let's put it on hold. And if someone tries to sue me, which they won't, because again, he emphasizes that he has a very, very good clientele who loves him. He's extremely lovable.
Mm-hmm. Extremely, yep.
I can see that, Mr. McGill.
Yeah, I love the Dorian's like not just like give him like stone face. She's actually emoting. She's a human being.
No, I hear you.
So she's
it's just like it's such a difficult position to be in. Like I would never want a job like that. It's like the Bob Parr job, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, you're right.
So that just dawned on me.
Yes, me too. Oh god, that's great. Yes. Yes. Anyway,
so just picture Jimmy giving this whole speech to Mr. Incredible.
Well, if Jimmy did this to Mr. Incredible like reaching for the tissues, like, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
Oh god.
Okay, let's see. All right, so okay, so
yep.
I'm sorry, I'm going through the client thing. So extra lovable. Extremely lovable. Okay, so he basically asked if the policy can be put on hold, and no luck with that. They can't do that. They can't just put it on hold for 12 months and resume it. And she's sympathetic. She's sympathetic to Jimmy's problem, but it's against the rules. And then she regrets to inform Jimmy. And here we go.
Oh man.
The minute this was said, and this basically the minute she reveals this is one of my favorite moments of the episode. This is one of this episode. Honestly, I'm going to say
4 words you never want to hear in an insurance office. We regret to inform you.
Oh yes, and
5 words.
Yes,
I'm terrible at math. Anyways,
I just did on my finger. Yeah, 5. Yeah. All right. So, this little pause was for the folks out there. That's 5 words. Won't be over specific with it. So he's sympathetic. So Jimmy, so yeah, she regrets to inform Jimmy that with the suspension and when he gets his license reinstated after the 12 months, his rate, because he's a risk now, will go up, and she gives him percentage, the most heartbreaking percentage you've ever heard.
God, right.
And it's like, when she says, I think collectively everyone watching the show, just their jaws dropped. Even if you don't understand the intricacies of malpractice and loitering, I think
which I really don't, but yeah.
I just love when they boil it down. The minute you hear this percentage, and like, okay, you're going to be charged this amount of money, percentage, and this percentage number, just instantly sympathy all around the board. 150%.
Oh, yeah.
For the folks out there who are not good at math, let me explain. That's more than the full amount. That's almost double the full amount. Almost halfway. Oh boy. And then basically we have the Odenkirk Emmy scene. For your consideration, the great Bob Odenkirk. So again, just poor Jimmy. The breakdown after all the hard work underwater. He's been underwater this whole episode. After all the hard work, and Jimmy's been always bouncing back, always trying to keep Chipper, always just trying to truck on through. He's been keeping his Walter White pride, and in this moment here, he's been trying to hang on to life, onto this life before all the tape stuff happened with Chuck. All this life that, again, the ending of season 2 was like all in the upswing. Like, hey, we're going to start a business. You got me and Kim, and it's going to be all happy-go-lucky. I've been looking for some direction at the beginning of season 2. At the end of season 2, yay! It's all happy sunshines and dentist office. But now it's
right.
And Jimmy's happy little Shangri-La was just, because of Chuck's actions, had just completely broken, because 150%, when we saw how much he's been struggling just to make ends meet, and 150% just completely wipes out anything he's been doing. Knowing that, like, that's your reward for all your hard work, Jimmy. You're not going to get anything. The joke of Saul Goodman, of course, being Jimmy. This scene essentially focuses on the death of the lawyer scene. This is their big Broadway scene here.
Sure.
It's so emotional. You feel his pain, and you I've never felt this way, but this is the reason I'm gushing over this scene before I even go through it. I've never felt this way before. It's like I cried when he cried in the scene.
Oh man,
when it's like it was in the eyes. It was like, oh my god, I get this tear. But as a reflex, when the tears went down his face, I was like so heartbroken. So basically, here's the thing, folks. I'm not an Emmy-nominated actor by any stretch, so I want to make that clear. But I'm going to give the old college try. So bear with me.
All right.
I'm sorry. It's hard. It's very, very hard. I'm having a rough time. I just need a break. Just one break. I know you can't do anything. I'm getting run out on this community service, getting ripped off left and right. And my car won't start. My gal's disappointed in me. My brother's sick. He's alone, and I spent years caring for him, and now he hates me. He's the only family I got left, and he hates me. He hates my guts. I pretend not to care, but he's my brother. How can I not? He's mentally ill. He's up there with no electricity, working by gas lanterns, making mistakes with his clients. And at that point, Jimmy's now definitely getting his revenge.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He's mixing up numbers on important documents. He had a complete mental breakdown at the bar hearing. It's in the transcripts.
I love how he's like, in case you want to check it out, it's in the transcripts.
Just to go through the rest, essentially, that's my bid for the Odenkirk Emmy.
That was really good, man. I gotta say, that was pretty good. I was feeling it.
Oh, but no, seriously, I was so moved by that. Seems like honestly, I think it's the best scene Odenkirk's gotten in the series for me. I don't know how to really move by it.
Would that include Breaking Bad?
Well, again, Odenkirk's side of it, yes, including on Breaking Bad with him, I would say yes.
Okay.
But seriously, just like him, like going through all that stuff, because again, the idea in this thing is that he's voicing a lot of truth. A lot of this is coming from a very true place, where it's, he's just basically voicing all the frustrations he's endured in the day of, like, the car won't start, and the sense of pity you feel from when he's just going through all these things, and this gal's disappointing him. Kim, we saw this. These are things that we've seen, and just like he's been holding it in, but just like the minute that 150%, so like, the tear goes down his face, and I love the reaction on Doreen throughout the scene. Just Doreen, just like you see like the sympathy. She's like so caught off guard. She feels so sorry for him. Again, it's like Bob Barr having to break the bad news. Like, oh my God, I've destroyed this man with horrible facts.
Yeah, right.
And he has, and that again has now. I get a sense that all this is, again, like any good lie, it is coming from a true place, and we're gonna get into maybe a theory or so, but I believe that he's genuine about all of this. But the minute he mentions his brother, like, he's just mentioning it because he's thinking about it, and like he's voicing some feelings about his brother that Kim was trying to get out of him earlier on. But the minute Chuck enters his mind again, I think he gets the idea on the fly. Mm-hmm, that's what I think. Mm-hmm. I think it's like he's just going to dig some revenge out with what he says about Chuck.
Right, and he is kind of just like very much, like seeming to Doris, like he's just kind of going on an emotional tangent here with, the details about like the, the working by lantern and everything like that.
Because again, it's the minute he says he's making mistakes. That's the second he says that. That's when I like that. That's why this scene's the best scene. It's like the performance is great, but the minute he says, that's when you have your question everything. It's like, oh my God, he got us.
Right.
Like, and that's the danger of kind of Saul Goodman. Again, this is kind of the death of Jimmy Gillen, kind of the birth of Goodman. It's like slipping Jimmy flowering in the Goodman in a scene. So Jimmy is, he's begging her, as he said, he's making mistakes with his clients, and then she also interjects like, he had a breakdown in court. It's in the transcripts. It says it. So then, Jimmy begs her not to write that stuff. Then that is such a realistic thing where she's starting to write it down and just saying, please don't write that down. I don't want to get him in. I don't want to get him in trouble. And then she's giving some reassurance. Like, no, don't. It's not.
I wouldn't worry about it, Mr. McGill.
Yeah, just you're not going to do anything. Writing that down and you get the. I don't worry about Mr. McGill. Just, oh my God! Essentially, that's like kind of in insurances. That's a big fat yes.
Exactly.
We're absolutely going to do something about this. We just dropped the atom bomb on your brother, so we're going to Yeah. So, and again, just then I do love it. Again, whether it's, I think it's genuine, whether it's contractually obligated or genuine. I'd like to think that, she says please feel better. I'd like to think she genuinely means that.
I would say so.
And then we have this bit here, and we end on perfect. Where Jimmy leaves, and his expression is, he starts with this. It's bitter and upset, and just as he walks out the room, the last instant again, it's like kind of that devil winking at you moment where those kind of funny, because Odenkirk has played the devil once.
Right.
He leaves and just kind of gives that little angry smirk at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this idea again. It's like deep down again, Jimmy 100% legitimately breaks down there. But again, in that moment, he just gets that idea of like, my brother, he's put me through all this. I did all that. He's reminding himself, I do all that stuff for him. And he hates me. And then it's like, if he hates me, he's putting me through this. He's making me my mad person. It's a petty move. I'm going to make sure he has at least some suspicion on him. I'm going to make sure his reputation never comes back. All that kind of in the emotions flowing into him in the moment. But then again, we don't know. It could be he had that plan all along, but he's that good an actor. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yep.
That's the end of the episode.
You're taking the words right out of my mouth, Dragon. I have nothing to add to that. Okay, shall we get to the quotes?
Sure.
Okay, folks. Well, we have 5 quotes. I just want to show these so people know that we have these 5 quotes in here, and I'm not just bullshitting around with this. We have 5 quotes that are going into the famous Gus Fring curly fries, because that's totally not a Jack in the Box curly fries thing. That's just painted over with Los Polos. Totally not. We're going to pull out 2 Saul Goodman quotes, Dragon. One for episode 6, one for episode 7. And then we'll have 3 more in there for the remainder of the season. All right.
Some words of wisdom from the Tao of Goodman.
Okay. You say potato, I say exploitation. All right. I may have overstated the power of your face.
Yeah, that's the Pinkman after the Hank Schrader meeting. Well, context for the folks out there. Yes.
Okay. So now, who are we gonna call, Dragon? Are we gonna call Ghostbusters?
No, we can't afford Ghostbusters. Here's who we're going to call. So last time we called Saul Goodman Productions. This time, let's call, just because we're forming the identity so much at this point. That ending's just so out there and beautiful. Let's call the future. I want to call the future. Let's call the future. So let's call our future lawyer 505 503 4455. Again, for the kiddies out there, that's 505 503 4455.
You've reached the offices of Saul Goodman and Associates, one-stop shop for all things.
Hand on my heart, Dragon.
Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul. If you're currently under arrest or in custody, follow my 3 patented rules. 1, keep your mouth shut. 2, keep your mouth shut. 3, don't make eye contact with anyone in a holding cell unless you're looking to pick a love connection. Visit my website for more free advice. BetterCallSaul.com. The solution to your problem is just minutes away. Your call is important to us. Please continue to hold. Drug felonies, press 1. DUI, press 2. Slip and fall on government property, press 3. Illegal animal smuggling, press 4. Unreasonably hot fast food beverage accidents, press 5. We verify 15 victims, press 6. Continue this message to tag along, press star. Your call is important to us. Please continue to hold. What, the cops won't let you hold anymore? You're running out of quarters? So if you're pretty bad, then you gotta be prepared. For more free legal advice, visit my website, BetterCallSaul.com.
Never has a recorded message been more tragic.
Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? It's so patriotic. He just loves his country so much.
God bless Goodman. And by the way,
I just like Dragon. I vividly remember the first time I heard that. I was like, "Oh my god! It keeps going. It just keeps going and going. Oh my god! It's so long."
Fun little thing, just to foreshadow the next episode. By the way, is that they mention slipping and falling. That was like dial 3. I think it was like dial 3 in case you've slipped and fallen on someone else's property.
Right. Okay, folks, so we will be getting to episode 8, of course, Slip, sometime in the next few days. And until then, Dragon, why don't we round things off with some final thoughts?
Yeah!
All right, go ahead.
Oh boy, I love this episode. It's fantastic. The ending is pure Emmy gold. I felt this. I never felt the character's pain like so instantaneously like that. That's just like in the swell of pity I felt for Jim McGill. Yeah, but we witnessed the death of Jim McGill and the need for Saul Goodman. It's great. We have great aside from Jimmy's plotline, we have some great seeds for the Nacho story that were set. The rewatch plays a lot better with Mike having some context and some stuff that comes later, I gotta say. But even without that, it still plays fine, and the episode has even more kind of meaning to it. So that was like a fun thing on the rewatch. I love the realistic aftermath on Kim. Again, so many great likable moments. And again, this episode is kind of embodies the tragedy of the show, I think. And honestly, for me, this is the one to beat. 8's great, and it's really hard to pick over these episodes which one's the best one. For me, honestly, 7 is for this season. 7's the one to beat for me.
Okay, remind me, which episode was the inflatable? Which episode was inflatable?
That was 7 as well.
Aha! I think we're sensing a trend here, Dragon.
There are 2 trends. Okay, here's the trends. So 7, with the exception of season 1, the trends have been 7 and 9. 7 and 9 are always the best episodes. 9 was the best episode. And 2. Well, I'm just saying 9 was Pimento. Pimento was a great one. That of course was like that's the big Chuck reveal, and that's of course the I think the bingo thing's in that one too. That's all Pimento. 7 was one. It was like the Schweiker Coakley thing. I think that was the Kelman's finale. I think the Kelman's finale might have been 7, or it was the beginning of Stampede 1 or 2. Season 2 has the best example of 7 being inflatable and 9 being nailed, which of course.
Oh yeah. Big stuff.
So again, 7 and 9. Those are always the ones we'll go for. So we'll see if 9 holds a candle to it.
We'll see. Okay, yeah, and just my final thoughts, very simple, Dragon. I don't think I'm quite as over the moon about this as you are, but I mean, it is like, come on, it's a damn good episode. I mean, I just think this season keeps getting better and better. It's like I'm very proud of Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould and company, man. I'm just proud of them. That's I'm like a proud papa. I don't know, even though they're like twice my age. You know what I mean? But it's just, it's a fantastic episode. As you said, it just very much showcases the desperation of Jimmy, but it also showcases the soft side of Jimmy as well. And I think that moment, for me, Dragon, I think the moment that really pulls it for me even more than the breakdown at the end, although the breakdown at the end is some great Emmy bait right there. I shouldn't just call it Emmy bait. It's a really good, it's a really good scene. But the bit that really gets me, Dragon, the bit that really sells me on this whole episode is the, the makeup girl and that whole bit. It's just like that. That is just magic right there. That is some Saul Goodman magic. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. All right, folks, that's it for now. We'll be taking a temporary recess until next time.
Remember, kids, when you get that phone call, make it count. Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman and Associates is the one-stop shop for all your legal needs.
And without further... sorry. Shit. Is it without further ado?
And with that...
I'm so sorry. And with that...
No Emmy for Tiki.
What?
No Emmy for Tiki.
I know. And with that, I'm like the boom mic guy.
Maybe next time.
And with that, we are adjourned.
Totally be lawyers.
Totally be lawyers.
Totally.
We're taking the bus!